There's a beach town in America where the sand glows blue at night. The houses are cheaper than most cars, and tourists have no idea it exists. No, this isn't photoshopped. It's just forgotten. Everyone thinks they know American beaches. Miami's chaos, California's cliffs, the Outer Banks' vacation homes. But here is what nobody tells you. Scattered across America's coastlines are beach towns so strange, so unexpected, so completely off script that they don't fit any category you know. And most people will never find them. We're counting down 10 beach towns that will make you question everything you thought you knew about American coastal living. One place has beaches that literally sing when you walk on them. Another is surrounded by wild horses that outnumber the residents. And yes, one town exists on an island you can only reach by ferry, has no cars, and feels like you stepped into 1890. Think you've seen every beach town worth visiting? Cool. Let's see if you're ready for bioluminescent water, pink sand, and a place where pelicans have legal right-of-way. Like this video if you've ever realized the best places aren't in travel guides. Subscribe, because one day you'll want to escape to somewhere nobody else knows about. And this channel is basically your secret beach decoder. Let's break it down. Number 10. Port Aransas, Texas. Port Aransas is the Texas beach town where the official policy is golf carts over cars, and the unofficial policy is that day drinking is a lifestyle. Welcome to the island Texas forgot to develop. Port Aransas sits on Mustang Island, about 30 miles from Corpus Christi, with around 4,000 year-round residents, which swells to 30,000 in summer. It is a barrier island accessible by ferry, and the vibe is aggressively casual. Golf carts are the preferred transportation. Flip-flops are formal wear, and the town has somehow resisted becoming another resort clone. Here is what makes Port a genuinely weird. The beaches allow cars. You can literally drive your truck onto the sand and set up camp. It is legal chaos. Golf carts outnumber regular cars in town. You will see people driving them to bars, grocery stores, everywhere. Outnumber is not an exaggeration. The ferry is free. The state runs it, and locals treat the 15-minute crossing like their commute. Fishing culture dominates everything. The town exists for people who define themselves by what they catch. Hurricane Harvey nearly erased it in 2017. The town rebuilt, but it is still recovering. Here is the thing about Port Aransas. It is not trying to be cute. There is no quaint downtown with overpriced boutiques. It is dive bars, bait shops, and rental houses that have seen better decades. The authenticity is either charming or depressing, depending on your tolerance for worn-out coastal living. Authenticity cuts both ways. Someone who has been going there for years wrote online that Port A is what Texas beach culture actually is, not what travel magazines pretend it is. It is unpretentious to a fault. Your neighbors at the beach might be millionaires or construction workers, and nobody cares. Translation: Port Aransas offers real Gulf Coast living without the resort polish. You get actual beach access, genuine fishing culture, and prices that do not require trust funds. But you are also getting Texas heat, hurricane risk, and infrastructure that is perpetually recovering. Okay, let us address the beach driving thing. Yes, you can drive on the beach. No, not everyone should. The number of trucks stuck in sand is daily entertainment. Watching someone's F-150 sink to the axles while they gun the engine is peak Port A comedy. Beach driving is not for beginners. Also, the seaweed. Texas Gulf beaches are not Caribbean clear. They are brown. There is seaweed, and you make peace with that, or you do not come. But the water is warm. The fishing is excellent, and if you can handle imperfection, it is paradise. Picture this. You are on the beach at sunset. Trucks and tents scattered along the sand. Someone is grilling nearby. Pelicans are dive bombing the surf. A golf cart rolls past with a cooler strapped to the back. It is chaotic. It is casual. And it is exactly what beach living should be if you are not trying to impress Instagram. Port Aransas survived a direct hit from Harvey and rebuilt. That is not just resilience, that is stubbornness. Be honest, would you vacation in a beach town where people drive trucks on the sand? Yes, that is freedom. Or, nah, that is chaos. Comment your beach vehicle tolerance below. Number 9. Dungeness, Washington.
Dungeness has a 5-mile sand spit that curves into the Strait of Juan de Fuca, and walking it feels like leaving reality. Welcome to Washington's coastal secret that almost nobody visits. Dungeness sits on the Olympic Peninsula with barely any population to speak of. It is not technically a town, but more a community near Sequim. The Dungeness Spit is one of the longest natural sand spits in the world. It is surreal. The spit is over 5 miles long, curving into the strait like a natural jetty. At the end sits the new Dungeness Lighthouse, built in 1857. It is still operational, and you can stay there as a volunteer keeper. The beaches are part of a national wildlife refuge. You are walking through protected wilderness. Dungeness crabs are named after this place. The fishing culture here is real and old. The area gets rain shadow protection from the Olympic Mountains, which makes it sunnier than Seattle. Walking the Dungeness Spit is a commitment. It is a 10-mile round trip on sand. No facilities, no shortcuts. Just you, the beach, and seals watching you from the water. If you make it to the lighthouse, you have earned it. But here is the thing. Dungeness is cold. Pacific Northwest cold. The water is frigid year-round. This is not a swim and sunbathe beach. It is a hike and contemplate nature beach. You may be wearing layers in July. The spit feels like walking into the ocean without getting wet. It just keeps going. By mile 3, you are questioning reality. By mile 5, you are either enlightened or exhausted. In short, Dungeness offers one of America's most unique beach experiences, but it is for hikers and nature lovers, not sunbathers. You are getting wilderness, not amenities. Pacific Northwest beach culture is different. People do not come here to tan. They come to stormwatch, beachcomb, and experience weather. The beaches are dramatic, moody, and often deserted. If you need warm water and crowds, this is not it. But if you want beaches that feel untouched, the Pacific Northwest delivers. Picture yourself walking a narrow sand spit with water on both sides. Seals pop up to watch you. The lighthouse grows slowly closer. You are miles from civilization with just sand, water, and birds. It is meditative and slightly unnerving. Most Americans do not know Dungeness exists. Would you hike 10 miles round trip on a beach for a lighthouse experience? Yes, that is an adventure. Or no, I need easier access. What is your hiking tolerance for beach experiences? Number 8. Vieques, Puerto Rico. Vieques has beaches where the water glows blue at night. And it is not pollution, it is bioluminescence. Welcome to the beach that looks fake, but is not. Vieques is a Puerto Rican island off the main island's east coast with around 9,000 residents. It was a U.S. Navy bombing range until 2003, which kept development minimal. Now it is a protected area with some of the most unique beaches in America. Here is what makes Vieques genuinely unbelievable. Mosquito Bay has bioluminescent water. Microorganisms light up when disturbed. Kayak at night, and every paddle stroke glows blue. It is one of the brightest bio bays in the world. The beaches are largely undeveloped because of the Navy's former presence. Miles of coastline with minimal buildings. Wild horses roam freely. You will see them on beaches, on roads, everywhere. The snorkeling and diving are world-class. Clear Caribbean water with reefs that are not trampled by tourists. You need a ferry or a small plane to get there. The barrier to entry keeps crowds manageable. Vieques feels like Caribbean islands used to feel before resorts took over. It is slow, undeveloped, and the beaches are yours if you are willing to navigate rough roads to find them. But Vieques also has infrastructure issues. Power outages are common. Some areas still have contamination concerns from Navy bombing, and it is not cheap despite being rustic. A resident put it bluntly, Vieques is stunning and frustrating. The beaches are incredible. The Bio Bay is magical, but the power goes out randomly. Supplies are limited, and you are living on island time whether you like it or not. Vieques offers some of America's most unique beach experiences, but you are accepting infrastructure challenges and isolation. The bioluminescence alone makes it worth considering. Let us talk about the bioluminescence, because it sounds fake until you see it. The microorganisms in Mosquito Bay create light when agitated. Kayak through it, and the water glows electric blue around your paddle. Fish darting create blue streaks.
It looks like CGI, but it is nature. Vieques has one of the brightest concentrations in the world. Picture yourself kayaking in darkness. Every movement creates blue light. The water sparkles like you are paddling through stars. It is one of those experiences that breaks your brain because it does not seem possible. Then you remember this is just biology, and the world is weirder than you thought. Vieques has bioluminescent bays, wild horses on beaches, and Caribbean water. It is technically America, but it feels like another world. Be honest, would you deal with power outages and ferry access for bioluminescent water? Yes, I will rough it, or no, I need reliability. What is your infrastructure tolerance for natural wonders? Number 7. Whitefish Point, Michigan. Whitefish Point has a beach on Lake Superior so remote and dramatic, it is where the Edmund Fitzgerald went down. Welcome to Great Lakes beaches that feel like oceans. Whitefish Point sits on Michigan's Upper Peninsula, jutting into Lake Superior. It is isolated, historic, and the lake here is so massive, it creates its own weather. Here is what makes Whitefish Point shocking if you have never seen the Great Lakes. Lake Superior looks like an ocean. It is massive, with waves, storms, and shipwrecks. The water is crystal clear and frigidly cold. Even in summer, it rarely gets above 50 degrees. The beach is part of a shipwreck preserve. Over 200 ships have gone down in these waters. The Edmund Fitzgerald, the most famous Great Lakes shipwreck, sank near here in 1975. This place is steeped in shipwreck history. The Lighthouse and Maritime Museum tell the brutal history of shipping on Superior. The area is a birding hotspot. Whitefish Point is a major migration stopover. Whitefish Point offers a beach experience most people do not associate with the Midwest. It is dramatic, cold, and steeped in maritime tragedy. You are not sunbathing here. You are contemplating shipwrecks and nature's power. But the Upper Peninsula is remote. You are hours from any significant town. Services are limited, and the weather is harsh. Winters are brutal, and even summer is cool. Visitors describe it this way. Whitefish Point feels like the edge of the world. The lake is enormous. The beach is wild. The shipwreck history is haunting. It is not a vacation beach. It is a pilgrimage for people who love Great Lakes culture. In other words, Whitefish Point offers one of America's most unique beach experiences for people who appreciate maritime history and dramatic landscapes. But you are accepting cold, isolation, and limited amenities. Picture standing on a beach looking at water that stretches to the horizon. Waves crash. The lighthouse stands behind you. You are thinking about the Edmund Fitzgerald and the 29 men who died. This beach is not about relaxation. It is about respect for the lake's power. Whitefish Point is where the Great Lakes feel like oceans. Most Americans do not realize freshwater can be this dramatic. Would you visit a beach where the main attraction is shipwreck history? Yes, I am into that. Or nah, too morbid. What is your tolerance for dark tourism? Number 6. Tybee Island, Georgia. Tybee Island has beaches where dolphins swim close enough to touch, and the town feels like the 1980s never ended. Welcome to Georgia's casual coastal throwback. Tybee sits 18 miles east of Savannah, with around 3,000 residents. It is a barrier island that has been a beach destination for over a century, but somehow never went full resort. Here is what makes Tybee genuinely different. The beaches are wide and uncrowded, and they feel accessible. No resort monopolies block access. Dolphins are everywhere. You will see them from shore regularly. The town is unapologetically low-key. Old beach houses, local bars, and zero pretension. There is a marine science center where you can learn about sea turtles and coastal ecology without it feeling like a tourist trap. The proximity to Savannah gives you city access when you need it. Tybee works because it is close enough to Savannah to have infrastructure, but far enough to maintain a distinct island identity. The beaches are real Georgia coast, warm water, Spanish moss nearby, and a vibe that is more southern than resort. But Tybee is also dated. Some of the infrastructure is old. The town has not had massive investment, which is either charm or neglect depending on your perspective. And summer is hot. Georgia coastal humidity is aggressive. A visitor who has been going for decades says Tybee has not changed much in 30 years. That is either its greatest strength or its biggest problem. It is authentic, but also aging. The beaches are great, but the town can feel stuck in time. In short, Tybee offers accessible Georgia coastal living without resort prices or manufactured charm. But you are getting an aging beach town that is comfortable with being exactly what it is. Can we talk about Atlantic Coast dolphin culture? Tybee's dolphins are visible daily in season. You will see them from the pier, from shore, sometimes close enough to make you nervous if you are swimming. They are hunting, playing, and completely unbothered by humans. Picture this. You are on the beach. A pod of dolphins is fishing just beyond the breakers. Kids are pointing. The water is warm. There is no resort towering over you. Just a wide beach, wild life, and the feeling that this is what coastal Georgia has always been. Tybee is 15 minutes from historic Savannah, but it feels like a different era. Would you visit a dated beach town if it meant dolphin sightings and no crowds? Some say authenticity over polish. Others say they need updated infrastructure. Charm versus amenities. What wins? Number 5. Galveston, Texas. Galveston has Victorian mansions, cruise ships, and beaches that survived a hurricane so devastating it killed 8,000 people, and the town just refused to die. Welcome to Texas's weirdly resilient coastal city. Galveston sits on a barrier island in the Gulf of Mexico, with around 50,000 residents. It was Texas's largest city until the 1900 hurricane destroyed it. Then, Houston took over. But Galveston rebuilt and now exists as a strange mix of history, tourism, and Gulf Coast grit. The Strand Historic District has Victorian buildings that survived because the city raised the entire island's elevation after the hurricane. They literally raised it. The seawall is 17 feet high and 10 miles long, built after the hurricane to protect what was rebuilt. Cruise ships dock here, making it a strange combination of historic town and tourist port. The beaches face brown Gulf of Mexico water, but they are accessible and free. Mardi Gras is huge here, the third largest in the United States, after New Orleans and Mobile. Galveston works because it has survived everything: hurricanes, economic shifts, and being eclipsed by Houston. The town has real history, accessibility, and a scrappy toughness that has earned it a reputation. Galveston is also rough around the edges. Parts of the island are beautiful Victorian architecture. Other parts still look like they are recovering from past storms. The water quality is not pristine, and hurricane anxiety is real and constant. A local summed it up: Galveston is beautiful, tragic, and tough. The history is incredible. The beaches are accessible, but you are always aware this island has been destroyed before and could be again. Translation: Galveston offers Texas coastal living with genuine history and resilience. But you are living on a barrier island with hurricane risk and imperfect beaches. Let's talk about the 1900 hurricane. 8,000 people died, and it remains the deadliest natural disaster in United States history. The city responded by raising the entire island's grade level. Workers jacked up buildings and pumped sand underneath. It is an engineering feat born from tragedy. Picture yourself walking streets where buildings sit on raised new foundations. The seawall stretches for miles, protecting the island from the Gulf. You are in a place that was literally destroyed and rebuilt. That is not just history. That is defiance. Galveston raised an entire island after that hurricane. That is American stubbornness at its finest. Would you live on an island that was catastrophically destroyed once? Some say yes, they learned. Others say no. History repeats. What is your disaster risk tolerance? Number 4. Mackinac Island, Michigan. Mackinac Island banned cars in 1898 and never looked back. Welcome to the beach town that runs on horses and bicycles. Mackinac Island sits in Lake Huron, between Michigan's upper and lower peninsulas, with around 500 year-round residents. The island is accessible only by ferry. No cars are allowed, except emergency vehicles. Transportation is bikes, horses, and walking. The entire island is a National Historic Landmark. Victorian buildings, the Grand Hotel, and streets that have not changed in over a century give the place its time capsule feel. The smell is horse manure and fudge. Those are the two dominant scents. Every shop seems to sell fudge. The island economy runs on tourism, but it still maintains character. Summer population explodes,
and the town has not sold out completely. Winter is isolated. Most businesses close, and the year-round residents stay by choice. Mackinac works because it committed to preservation over growth. The no-car policy created an experience you cannot get anywhere else. It is bizarre and charming, and it feels like time travel. The island is not perfect. It is also expensive. Tourism drives prices up. Accommodations cost more because everything has to be ferried in. Fudge shop saturation is real. Someone who worked a summer there wrote that Mackinac is magical until you are there for 3 months. Then you realize it is a small island with limited options, and the smell of horse manure follows you everywhere. In short, Mackinac offers a unique beach and island experience for people who want car-free Victorian charm. But you are accepting tourist crowds, high prices, and logistical challenges. Picture yourself biking around an island with no cars. Victorian houses line the streets. The Grand Hotel sits on a bluff. Lake Huron surrounds you. Then a horse and buggy clip-clops past, and you remember, this is America in 2025, not 1895. Be honest, would you vacation on an island with no cars? Yes, that is the appeal. Or no, I need vehicles. What is your car dependency level? Number 3. Cannon Beach, Oregon. Cannon Beach has a 235-foot sea stack called Haystack Rock. It is so iconic, it has been in the Goonies, Twilight, and your nightmares if you are afraid of scale. Welcome to Oregon's moody coastal masterpiece. Cannon Beach sits on Oregon's north coast with around 1,700 residents. It is artsy, dramatic, and the beaches here do not mess around. Here is what makes Cannon Beach unbelievable. Haystack Rock dominates the beach. It is 235 feet tall, home to puffins in summer, and accessible at low tide. The beaches are wide, wild, and often deserted. Oregon coast weather keeps crowds down. The town is artsy without being obnoxious, with galleries, local shops, and a vibe that values quality over kitsch. Tide pools around Haystack Rock are protected marine gardens. You can explore them at low tide, carefully and respectfully. The weather is moody. Fog, rain, and dramatic clouds are normal. You do not come here to sunbathe. You come to experience weather. Cannon Beach works because it embraced its dramatic coastal identity. It is not trying to be California. It is Pacific Northwest to its core, cold, moody, and beautiful in ways that do not require sunshine. But Cannon Beach is also expensive for a small coastal town. Real estate is high, tourism drives prices up, and the weather is genuinely challenging. If you need sun, this is not it. A local sums it up. Cannon Beach is stunning when it is stormy. The rock, the waves, the drama. But it is also cold, gray, and isolating if you need human warmth or actual sunshine. Translation: Cannon Beach offers one of America's most dramatic beach experiences for people who value mood over comfort. You are getting iconic scenery and artistic culture, but you are also accepting Oregon coast weather. Let us talk about Haystack Rock. It is massive. Standing next to it at low tide is humbling. Puffins nest there in summer. The tide pools around it are protected, so you can explore carefully but not disturb. It has been photographed 1 billion times, and it still looks unreal in person. Picture yourself on a wide Oregon beach. Fog is rolling in. Haystack Rock rises from the sand like a monument. Waves crash. You are wearing a jacket in July because Oregon coast. It is beautiful and inhospitable, and exactly why people love it. Cannon Beach has appeared in multiple films because Haystack Rock is that iconic. Would you visit a beach where the weather is the attraction as much as the scenery? Yes, moody is beautiful. Or no, I need warmth. Sunshine versus drama. What is your beach priority? Number 2. Ocracoke, North Carolina. Ocracoke is the Outer Banks island you can only reach by ferry, and it is where Blackbeard the pirate died. Welcome to North Carolina's time capsule island. Ocracoke sits at the southern end of the Outer Banks, accessible only by ferry or private boat. It has around 1,000 residents and a vibe that is aggressively unbothered by modern tourism trends. Here is what makes Ocracoke genuinely different. Ferry access only. You take a vehicle ferry for over an hour. That barrier keeps day trippers minimal. The village is tiny and walkable.
Golf carts and bikes dominate. Blackbeard died here in 1718. The history is real and celebrated. The beaches are wild and uncrowded. The national seashore protects most of the island. The lighthouse is the oldest operating lighthouse in North Carolina, built in 1823. Ocracoke works because access limits crowds. The ferry ride is long enough that casual tourists skip it. What is left are people who want genuine Outer Banks culture without the development of Nag's Head or Kill Devil Hills. But Ocracoke is isolated. Medical care is limited. Supplies come by ferry. Hurricane evacuations are mandatory and complicated. Living here requires accepting dependence on ferry schedules and weather. Someone who summers there described it. Ocracoke is what the Outer Banks used to be. Quiet, authentic, and uncommercialized. But that is because it is hard to get to and harder to supply. You are trading convenience for character. In short, Ocracoke offers an authentic Outer Banks experience for people willing to accept ferry dependency and isolation. You get undeveloped beaches and real history. Picture yourself on a ferry for over an hour. You arrive at an island with one tiny village. The beaches stretch for miles with almost nobody on them. You are in North Carolina, but it feels like you left the modern world. Ocracoke is where Blackbeard died and where modern tourism has not quite arrived. Would you visit an island that requires a multi-hour ferry commitment? Yes, that is the filter I need. Or no, too much effort. Access, as feature or bug. Number 1. Sanibel Island, Florida. Sanibel Island is where shells wash up in such massive quantities that people develop a posture called the Sanibel stoop from constantly bending over to collect them. Welcome to Florida's shell-obsessed coastal anomaly. Sanibel sits off Florida's Gulf Coast near Fort Myers, with around 7,000 residents. It is famous for shelling, protected wildlife, and a bridge toll that makes you question if you really need to visit. Here is what makes Sanibel unbelievable. The shelling is world-class. The island's east-west orientation causes shells to accumulate on beaches in massive quantities. People come from around the world to shell here. Most of the island is heavily restricted development. No buildings over 3 stories. No national chain stores except a few grandfathered in. Much of the land is part of the Jayending-Darling National Wildlife Refuge. Manatees, dolphins, and birds are everywhere. The Sanibel stoop is a real thing. The posture people develop from constantly bending to pick up shells. The bridge toll is $12 to get on the island. It is a financial barrier that keeps some day trippers away. Sanibel works because it protected itself early. Strict development codes prevented it from becoming another Fort Myers beach. The result is an island that is expensive, but that has maintained its natural character. But Sanibel is also exclusive and pricey. Real estate is expensive, and the toll keeps some people out. Hurricane Ian in 2022 devastated parts of the island. Recovery is ongoing. Someone who has been going for decades wrote, "Sanibel is one of the last Florida barrier islands that feels like old Florida. But it is also increasingly expensive and exclusive. The shells are still there, but so are million-dollar homes." Translation: Sanibel offers world-class shelling and protected nature, but at the cost of accessibility and affordability. You are getting old Florida preserved, but gentrified. Now let's talk about the shelling obsession. It is real. People wake up at sunrise to shell. They compare finds. There are shell shops, shell museums, and shell competitions. The Sanibel stoop is even named in medical literature. This is serious business disguised as a hobby. Picture yourself on a Sanibel beach at dawn. The sand is covered in shells. People are bent over, walking slowly, completely absorbed. You join in, and 3 hours disappear. You have collected shells you will never do anything with, but you cannot stop. This is Sanibel. Sanibel Island is one of the world's top shelling destinations, and it created a medically recognized posture. Final question. Would you pay $12 in tolls to visit an island famous for shells? Yes, I'm in. Or nah, shells are not worth it. Drop your answer below because we have reached the end. And if you are still here, you are already planning which beach town to visit first. Like this video, if you just learned about 10 beaches you never knew existed. Subscribe because America has hidden coastal gems that do not make travel lists. And this channel finds them. These towns are real. The beaches are weird and wonderful.
and most people will never discover them. Your move